I'm Rolene Marks. Welcome to Modiin and Beyond. Join me every Sunday between 3 and 4 on Radio Modiin as we take a look at what's happening in Modiin, Israel, and beyond. Welcome, everybody. It's not Sunday, it's Tuesday morning, which means it's time for Modiin and Beyond on Radio Modiin with me, Rolene Marks. Now, before we get into who's going to be on today's show, I just want to say to our brave men and women of the IDF, we wish you chazak ve'ematz. As in the early hours of this morning, the IDF launched Operation Shield and Arrow in response to the over 100 rockets that were fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel's southern communities last week. Our thoughts, our prayers are with all our southern civilians. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. We stand united. We stand behind our security forces, our brave men and women, and of course, our citizens of the South. On today's edition of Modiin and Beyond on Radio Modiin, I will be speaking to this lovely lady sitting right next to me, Daniella Tannenwald. She's going to tell me all about Thrivacious and an upcoming retreat. It's a incredible initiative, and we hope that at least we'll get some people out there coming on the retreat. Following Daniella, we're going to be speaking to Gotin. He is the Director of Resource Development for Save a Child's Heart. I was able to spend some time with the organization last week, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, no edition of Modiin and Beyond would be complete without our queen of entertainment. Well, we crown her queen, the lovely Yael Kinar. We're going to be speaking about what else? The coronation. There were crowns, there was fashion, there was carriages, there was everything we anticipated and more. But our first guest, a huge welcome to Daniella Tannenwald. Thank you for joining me on Modiin and Beyond this morning.
Well, Rolene, thank you so much for the invitation, for giving me the space and the time to talk about my passion. It's something very, very close to my heart, something I speak about from personal experience. I personally have been on a cancer journey for 9 years, starting in 2014. And with great privilege, I was fortunate enough to come across an organization that had just started in 2017, which was immediately after my first chemotherapy treatment. I became involved in the organization more and more as it healed me and encouraged me to move forward, to gain strength, and to make the most incredible friends.
Well, I think you are simply exceptional. Not only are you a warrior in every sense of the word, but you are somebody who, in the many years that I've known you, has been absolutely dedicated to community and doing whatever you can possibly do to ensuring those who feel vulnerable in whatever respect of the word feel supported. So now we're speaking about an organization called Thrivacious. Can you tell us a little bit about how Thrivacious was started and what's going on today?
So, absolutely. So, I'm always involved in community work. I grew up in a family where that was the main line of giving, I can say, within my household. Thrivacious was started in 2017 by a young lady by the name of Ilona Metz. She is a breast cancer survivor. She had her journey in America and then made Aliyah to Israel and found that even though, of course, we know that best medical treatment is here in Israel, the emotional support for her was almost non-existent as an English speaker. She opened up the group, as it was at the time, and opened up a workshop and promoted it through Facebook and other media. I got to read about it. I approached her and I did the first workshop. We were 8 girls. Over the years, we've grown to a community, I want to say, fortunately for all of us, making friends, but unfortunately for what it stands for. We are probably 500 women now. We've hosted many, many events, workshops, lectures, gatherings, parties, and we held our first retreat, which Alona organized just before COVID. And we did 2 then. We were 23 women. It was not a retreat about cancer, actually. It was a retreat about growth and learning and growing, making friends, and all of us speaking the same language.
Support.
Correct. The emotional support was enormous. And not only was the emotional support so big during the retreat, but the follow-up after the retreat, having made these friends, having new numbers in your cell phone, people you can talk to and say, hey, this is how I feel, or can you come with me to a chemo treatment, or does anyone know how to fill in these forms, or what this means? We do speak our own language. Yes, it's in English, but the cancer journey is a language of its own.
I think this is something that many don't understand, especially for Olim, who come here and struggle enough as it is with the medical processes and with having to do everything in Hebrew. And on top of a very, very stressful diagnosis, having to navigate that, as you say, you speak your own language as cancer patients as well, and you need that extra level of support. Can you walk us through what happens at a retreat? Because there might be women listening right now who really would love to connect and receive that kind of emotional support structure.
Absolutely. So our retreats are financially sponsored by donors. We have received donations both in Israel and in America. This enables a cancer survivor, cancer patient, or caregiver, someone who's taking care of an immediate family member who's going through a cancer journey. Each participant costs the organization about 5,500 shekel. And past retreats, we've only charged each girl 600. This year, we are charging the girls 950 because we all know that things have gone up. And we are trying to level out and match inflation. But having said that, we do have funds to sponsor women who really can't do it, who really can't pay the amount. The retreat is over 2 nights and 3 days. It's a packed program from 9 in the morning on day 1 till 10:30 at night, and the following days from 7 in the morning till 10:30 at night. We have the most phenomenal facilitators, women who are professional in their field, who come to the retreat and give of their time and expertise to guide women through workshops, spiritual, mental and emotional workshops, sex and sexuality.
That's something that's often not discussed, how cancer impacts on a woman who might feel not very sexual anymore, not very attractive anymore.
Correct.
It's hugely important.
Body image is enormous, especially for girls going through mastectomy, and some choose not to do reconstructive surgery. But even if they do reconstructive surgery, there's so much to it in terms of body image, having to look in the mirror every day and try and accept the change. And a lot of these women are of the older generation. We do sadly have girls from the age of 28 right up until women of 70. So we discuss that. We have workshops, and it's a place really where we can let our hair down. We laugh, we cry, we talk very intimately, and it's all about strength and growth, which women in general in today's times need. There isn't a word of cancer mentioned in the whole retreat.
It sounds to me like it's somewhere where women can feel empowered, supported, but also very safe and very nurtured.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think safety is an enormous aspect of it. Yes, I think it's an area, it's a place of comfort and a place where women feel, I can do this.
Now, you mentioned COVID. COVID impacted everybody, and we cannot imagine what it must have felt like for women who are going through cancer treatments and cancer, who must have felt, on top of already being isolated for a variety of reasons, even more emotionally isolated. How did that impact on Thrivacious and the work that the organization does?
So in terms of the times that we went through during COVID, we had each other on WhatsApp and on call. During COVID, of course, nobody stopped treatments. Girls still went to hospital, girls still stayed in hospital, girls, the cancer journey is nothing that can be put on hold. It did continue, and it was a lonely time. It was a very lonely time. The only place where we could really support one another was through social media, through calls, through WhatsApps, and there was an enormous amount of that. But going to treatments, women had to do it alone.
Now, you've got a retreat coming up, and hopefully this can bring a lot of comfort to women who right now might feel extremely isolated and alone, despite the ending of a pandemic. How does somebody get in touch with you, want to join the retreat?
I'm very happy to share my details. We have spaces left, and we will welcome anyone who feels that they would like to be a part of this. And even if you're on a cancer journey and in treatment and don't feel good right now, I encourage the girls to come, because we help, we support, we guide, it gives battery to women to continue on the journey. And I'd be happy to leave my number, my email, and give details forward on to the link for registration. The registration is very simple. And I very, very much would like to have anybody who we can support, who we can help on this retreat, which is coming up on the 1st of June. The retreat is from the 1st to the 3rd of June. And we're open to new members.
Can you give us the website address where people can link to register?
So it's thrivacious.org, and it's just easy. All the information on the retreat is there, and my own personal number, I can spell it out now.
If you're happy to, we would love to. So if you don't, link onto thrivacious.org, that is thrivacious.org. You can contact Daniella directly and give us your number.
It's 052-615-8027.
That number again?
052-615-8027.
Now, I understand that over the last couple of years, Thrivacious has changed the way that it runs, how it goes about running its business. And for many people who would want to donate, to support, how do they get in touch with you so that you can reintroduce a lot of those programs again?
So once again, to contact me on my mobile number, I have all the information for anybody who does want to donate, to allow the privilege to girls who possibly aren't able to afford it, and for the organization to continue. Thrivacious, unfortunately, our co-founder, our founder has gone back to live in the States, and she has left the organization to be run by volunteers like myself. We are a few girls. And obviously, we can see the benefit of the organization. We can see the growth and the dire need for this kind of emotional support for Olim women going through this kind of journey. So it would be a real shame that the organization diminishes altogether. We can't do it without donations and outside assistance.
We can't do it without you guys. If you want to help Thrivacious really and truly thrive, please be in touch with Daniella. Daniella Tannenwald, thank you so much for coming on Modiin and Beyond today. The work that you do is absolutely invaluable. It's Kiddush Hashem. And really, if you're out there and you want to support women who are going through cancer treatment, get the help, get the support they so richly deserve, please be in touch with Daniella. I'm Rolene Marks. This is Modiin and Beyond. We're going to take a short music break. On the other side of this, Gotin from Save a Child's Heart.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Hi.
Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways, eating up the night. My pony plays the mama. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Someone always playing corporation games. Who cares? They're always changing corporation names. We just want to dance here. Someone stole the stage. They call us irresponsible. Write us off the page. My Gotin plays the mama. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. It's just another Sunday in a tired old street. Police have got the chokehold. We just lost the beat. Who counts the money underneath the bar? Who rides the wrecking ball into our guitars? Don't tell us you need us, 'cause we're the simple fools looking for America, crawling through your schools.
Starship, and we built this city. We built this city on Modiin and Beyond on Radio Modiin, and I'm so delighted to welcome our next guest, Gotin. He is the Director of Resource Development for Save a Child's Heart. Now, last week I had the immense pleasure of spending time with Save a Child's Heart. I got to see their facilities in Rolene, where children are able to come from all around the world to receive life-saving heart surgeries, and also have time at their special ward for children, their pediatric ward at Wolfson Hospital. And I'm delighted to introduce Ido Gotin. He is going to tell us all about Save a Child's Heart. Ido, welcome to Modiin and beyond.
Hi, Rolene. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, Ido, it was such an immense privilege for me to spend time with you and your organization last week. And I left feeling so inspired and so proud. And I think it's so important to share the details and the story of your phenomenal organization, Save a Child's Heart, with as many people as possible, because this is really a jewel in Israel's crown. Can you tell us a bit about Save a Child's Heart? Who is Save a Child's Heart?
Right. So, Save a Child's Heart is a humanitarian organization based in Israel. We're based in Holon, not far from Wilson Medical Center. The organization was established in 1995 by a group of physicians within the hospital, but the most notable mention is Dr. Ami Cohen, Zichrono Livracha. Ami was an American physician who immigrated to Israel and made Aliyah, and brought with him this incredible vision and idea of assisting underserved children in cardiac care, children who suffer from heart disease and simply don't have access to that care in their home countries, whether that care is unavailable because the needed skills aren't available or the facilities aren't available, but their heart disease is treatable. Unfortunately, they have no access to that care. And so Save a Child's Heart comes in to fill that gap by bringing children to Israel. So Dr. Ami Cohen was the first to bring these children to Israel, to Wolfson Medical Center, and with the help of the hospital and with other fellow physicians, they were able to operate on the first children from Ethiopia back in 1995. And since then, I'm very happy to let everyone know that we've treated over 6,500 children from 68 countries from all over the world, right here in Israel at Holon, in Wolfson Medical Center. And it's an incredible thing that we can do here in Israel to help children from all over the world. Half of those children, it's important to mention, are from neighboring Arab countries, Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank, children from Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria and Jordan, and other countries which are getting that care right here in Israel.
It's absolutely extraordinary. You know, we all know that it's written in the Talmud that if you save one life, you save an entire world, and you are absolutely emblematic of that, including bringing children here, as you just said, from countries, some who don't recognize Israel, some who have hostile relations with Israel, and some countries where Israel has no formal bilateral ties. Now, you've mentioned Arab countries, you mentioned Iraq, you mentioned Syria, you mentioned the Palestinian territories. Where else around the world do you bring children from? And how are you able to identify or find the children who need desperately this life-saving surgery?
So one of the things that Save a Child's Heart is very proud of is an incredible training program that we do right here in Israel. Just to get everybody up to speed on the statistics here with regards to pediatric heart disease, 1 in 100 children are born with a congenital heart defect. What that means is that this child can be an Israeli child, it can be an Australian child, a child from South Africa or from Africa. It doesn't matter. This is a disease that is affecting children all over the world, no matter how good their medicine is in their country or how thorough the scannings are for pregnancy or lack of. And so this is a global issue. And what we've seen over the years is, or what Ami knew back when he started the organization, was that we simply couldn't treat all the children. We can treat a lot of them. We can help the ones with the most need at that given time. But in order to be impactful, to really change the problem of pediatric heart disease, we're going to have to train others. We're going to have to share the skills and knowledge that we have to care for this disease, and impart it to others around the world. And so what we've done, the second biggest part of our program, is actually we train doctors from all over the world. We currently have 15 different physicians in our training program here in Israel from different countries, and we can go into that later on. But the amazing thing is that this network of doctors that we've trained, over 140 doctors since 1995 all over the world, are now part of the SACH network. And the way we identify children is by several different methods. One is we perform missions, medical missions, whether they're echo screening missions, where we have our doctors go over to different countries and they screen hundreds of children during a week in a certain area, in a certain hospital, and then they create a waiting list or a list of children that we're able to treat throughout the year. That's one method. The other method is this network, which is basically doctors who are referring children from their clinics, cardiologists who are referring children to us. Our team here in Israel meets weekly to review these cases, and upon deciding which cases are operable or that we can help, we let them know that they've been accepted into the treatment program, and we go on to plan the logistics and having them come over to Israel. So it's a very, very exact system, but on the other hand, there's a lot of people behind the scenes who are working very hard to make this happen with all the children that we bring from different countries that we've mentioned.
I have a question in from a listener asking, do you do blood tests at all? I presume this is to track heart defects.
So, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm not a medical physician, the blood tests don't imply whether there is a heart condition or not. The way you would be able to identify that is through an echo examination, much like any woman goes through during her pregnancy. And even today, there's methods of seeing that within the during the pregnancy. So in many countries, you can imagine that's not available. And so a lot of the women go through their pregnancies without ever having some sort of checkup or professional checkup by a physician, by a cardiologist, by a technician, to see if there's any issues with the child before they're born. So the blood tests don't signify that. We do, however, have a series of tests that the children have to undergo back in their home countries before they arrive in Israel, to test for other things, many other things that we have to take into account before they arrive in Israel for treatment.
Now we're talking about the selection process, how to find the eligible patients or patients who really have severe defects and need the help. But the logistics are another issue, especially when we're dealing with countries, as we've just said, like Syria, like Iraq, where we have no bilateral ties. So this complicates the logistics. I mean, I think last week we even spoke about the fact that there was a child from Afghanistan, a very interesting case because, as we discussed, children often come with their mothers. In his case, he had to come with his father because of the situation for women in Afghanistan. How do children with their parent or their guardian, the nurse, whoever accompanies them, how are they able to get into Israel to receive that life-saving care?
I think it's very interesting, the fact that a lot of people would imagine that it would be impossible to bring someone from a country such as Afghanistan to Israel, and specifically for a medical treatment such as open heart surgery. But Save a Child's Heart has been doing this for over 25 years now. And the system that we figured out is basically we work obviously with all the ministries of interior and all the needed humanitarian aspects and visas that are required. That's a lot of the logistics that happens in the background by our unsung heroes of the organization who sit behind a desk and diligently work with our contacts in government and with the local contacts who are referring these children. Regarding how the children get here, so it's intricate. Some of them go through a secondary country. They can fly in through other countries around the world. In Israel, their passport isn't stamped. And so for security reasons for them, for their security, when they go back, no one is the wiser that they were here in Israel. And obviously, we're very careful about publishing anything with their faces or especially the adults, the escorting guardian, or usually the mother in many cases. Interestingly enough, from Afghanistan, it's usually the father who accompanies the child because the mothers are usually, the women are not allowed to leave the country presently. Regarding other countries, most other countries, there's no issue, but the cases can be that sometimes the escorting guardian can't leave if the country for other reasons, whether there's other children at home that she needs to care for, whether it's a new job that she has and she doesn't want to leave for an extended period of time, and would then mean that she would come back and she would have to find another job. And you have to realize that the reality for many of these families back home is that a sick child is a sick family in many regards. Sick child means that a child stays at home, doesn't go to school. One of the parents has to stay at home. That means that they can't work. That means that there's a cycle of poverty that ensues on the family. And for many, it means that there's a lot of tough decisions they have to take in order to make sure that their child gets that best care. But I think relating to any mother or any parent, we would do anything for our children. And that means even if we have to travel to a country we've never been to or never even heard much about, we would do it. Even if it means to go to a country that has been regarded in many ways in our life as an enemy country, as a country where, you know, people are described as our worst enemy. And then they come here and they realize it's nothing like that. And actually there are people, caring people on the other side, who would like only the best for them and their children. And I think that's the beauty of Save a Child's Heart, and what is reflected in our work with the Palestinian families and their children that come over, no matter what the situation is. Even today, when we have rockets or whether we have an all-out war, children continue to come because children are not to blame for the situation, and they should receive the best medical care they can, no matter what. Every child deserves a healthy life.
And this is my belief. My belief is that peace is not built through the politicians who sign agreements. Peace is built by the people from the ground up who interact with each other, who get to know each other on a human level, especially when you've got somebody, a child who is the most vulnerable. And what many of our listeners should know is that Save a Child's Heart has actually been honored with a humanitarian award by the United Nations, who does not give out awards or even any kind of credit to Israel very often. That is just exceptional.
Yeah. In 2018, the organization was recognized by the UN Population Award. It's a prestigious award that we're very proud of on many levels. First of all, the fact that they've acknowledged an organization for what it does and the good that it does. But most importantly, I think, for the fact that a UN prize was given to an Israeli organization. We are the only Israeli organization to date that this prize has been given to. And it signifies a lot for us, and it signifies that the world recognizes on a global level the impact of an Israeli humanitarian organization for the children of this world.
Do you know what I loved visiting your home, the Save a Child's Heart house in Rolene, where the children are staying, either pre or post-op, is your kitchen, where you have created an incredible space for the mothers to cook the dishes that they feel comfortable cooking at home, so that, and that's another way of breaking cultural barriers, is to taste each other's cooking, but also you've catered for everything, pun intended, that even ensures that away from home they still have a little bit of home with them. And we also took a trip to your incredible pediatric ward at Wolfson Hospital. Tell us about that, because it's really absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so first I'd like to really touch on the kitchen. I think the kitchen in any family, in any home, is a focal point of that home. It's a place where a lot of memories are made, and a place of bonding. Food is a tool for bonding. And many years ago, when SACH started, they were operating out. The organization was operating out of different villas or large homes in the Azur area near Hulon. And then in 2011, after a couple of years of building our facility in Kiryat Sheret in Hulon, the organization finally moved into a purpose-built facility or children's home that had everything planned to our needs. And the house mother, Laura, who was a longtime volunteer, became the house mother. And she really was involved in the planning. And one of the places that she knew had to be planned carefully and would be a focal point of the home is the kitchen. And she figured out many years ago that the children coming here from Africa, from Uzbekistan, from Afghanistan, from Kosovo, all these children, when they're coming here with their mothers, as good as shawarma and schnitzel and hummus is a great, and falafel are great things that we all love here in Israel, what a sick child wants when they're healing, when they're in the process of healing, when they're spending time at a home with children that they don't know, but yet it's meant to be their home away from home, what they want is mom's food. I know when I'm sick, what I want is mom's food. And so the dishes are prepared by the mothers. The children eat them together in a communal area within the home, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the local spices. And we provide them with all their local needs, with the chicken and the rice and the potatoes and the vegetables and the milk and everything they might need to create their dishes. And so there's just really amazing smells at the house at any given time. We're blessed to have our offices in the back of the house. And so every time we come by through breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can smell these amazing dishes being prepared. And I think it's really an amazing part of the home. And you've definitely touched that point, because it's so powerful to see women bonding over the fact that they're creating these dishes to give to their children together. And the children are all going through the same thing here. All the mothers are bonding through this process of this journey of having their child receive life-saving care here in Israel. So that's absolutely an amazing part of our home. And yes, when they're not at the home, which is before or after their procedure, they're at the children's hospital. We have a new children's hospital, a $65 million capital project that Save a Child's Heart has been working on for years. And finally, with an amazing support by very generous benefactors, amongst them Mr. Sylvan Adams, Mr. Morris Khan, the Azrieli Foundation, and many, many other organizations around the world, our affiliates in the US, in Australia, and Canada, and many others who've contributed to this project, made our dream a reality. And we were able to build a 7-floor children's hospital, new children's hospital in Hulon, with brand new pediatric wards, surgical departments, the best of the best in technologies for a new pediatric ICU, a cardiology clinic, an international cardiology clinic, and a brand new OR, operating theater, with 2 operating theaters for open heart surgery and 1 hybrid cath lab, which is able to do both catheterization procedures and open heart surgeries. So we're talking about a state-of-the-art facility by all means. Probably, if I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is probably the most advanced children's hospital in Israel today, and specifically with regards to cardiac treatments for children. But it doesn't stop there. The children's hospital provides treatment to any child, no matter what their need is. Specifically in the area of Hulon, Bat Yam, South Tel Aviv, Jaffa, Rishon LeZion. But specifically, it's the home for Save a Child's Heart for the medical care we provide to our children. And what you saw when you visited, and I encourage all the listeners today, if they're interested, to please reach out to us. We're more than happy to have you join our Save a Child's Heart network and come and visit and see for yourself the impact of what we do both internationally and here locally in Israel with this new facility.
Well, in the remaining seconds that we have left, and I can attest, it's the most extraordinary pediatric center. And if you publish a cookbook, Ido, I'm the first to buy it. Where can we find Save a Child's Heart online?
So you're more than welcome to visit us at saveachildsheart.com. Very easy to get to. You can search on Google. We're the first ones to come up regarding saving children's lives with heart disease. Our Facebook and social media channels are packed with content. You can follow children. You can see the results of our treatments. You can learn about the doctors in training. You can hear about our missions. We really put a lot of effort into getting out the story of Save a Child's Heart, because we are very much relying on the support of generous benefactors and donors from around the world to make this happen. And you're more than welcome to join us, learn about us, contribute and support our work. And it's just, I can only attest to how amazing this organization is, having joined in 2019, going through COVID, and seeing how no matter what, the people at Save a Child's Heart will do everything they can to give the best care to these children. We firmly believe in what we do, and the results are just absolutely amazing. Seeing a child coming here when they're bluish and sickly, and having them leave here like any healthy child that you would know around your life, going back to school, starting to walk here, and really having their entire future ahead of them after this procedure, is one of the most rewarding things anyone could ever imagine.
Ido Gotin, Director of Resource Development for Save a Child's Heart, thank you so much. On the other side of the musical break, it's the queen of all things entertainment, Yael Kinar. We're going to be discussing, what else? The coronation.
I've seen the world, done it all, had my cake now. Diamonds brilliant and ballerina. Hot summer nights, mid-July, when you and I were forever wild. The crazy days, city lights, the way you play with me like a child. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? I've seen the world lit it up as stage now, channeling angels in the new age now. Hot summer days, rock and roll, the way you play for me at your show, and all the ways I got to know your pretty face and electric soul. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? Dear me bring my man. When he comes, tell me that you'll let him in. Father, tell me if you can. All that grace, all that body, all that face makes me wanna party. He's my sun, he makes me shine like diamonds. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? Will you still love me when I'm not young and beautiful? Radio Modiin, התושבים מדברים. Radio Modiin, התושבים מדברים. הבית שלך זה הלב שלנו, להנהלה, התרגלו להגיד מכאן, להנהלה, הבית שלך זה הלב שלנו, התרגלו להגיד מכאן, להנהלה.
שלטק מודיעין הוא מתחם עבודה שיתופי ליזמים וחברות. בשלטק תמצאו עמדות עבודה אישיות, משרדים סגורים, חדרי ישיבות מרווחים, מרחבי הדרכה משודרגים. בקיצור, כל מה שעסק בצמיחה צריך. שלטק, עסקים שגדלים יחד.
מחפשים חוויה משפחתית שוברת שגרה? דייט מוצלח ורומנטי? חוות צהלה מזמינה אתכם לרכיבת שטח חווייתית במיוחד. בתוך הנוף עוצר הנשימה של עמק איילון. חוות צהלה, תתכוננו להתאהב. לפרטים 055-662-6773.
טרייד סטיישן, אפליקציית המסחר זוכת הפרסים. לסחור רק עם הטוב ביותר. אליט פלטפורמס, המקבצה הפיננסית שלכם.
ברוכות הבאות למכללה האקדמית לחינוך תלפיות בחולון. מכללה שהיא בית. בבית שלנו יש מרצים עם תשוקה לחינוך. סגל מנהלי עם תודעת שירות גבוהה, והמון יחס אישי לצד מצוינות אקדמית. אלפי בוגרות המכללה המובילות את שדה החינוך בישראל היא העדות הטובה ביותר, שמכללת תלפיות הינה המקום הנכון ביותר עבור מי שרוצה להצליח, להשפיע ולחנך את דור העתיד. כי החינוך מתחיל מהבית. לצד המתקנים הפיזיים המתקדמים, המערכים הטכנולוגיים והקמפוס המתחדש, אנו מציעים לכן 5 מסלולי לימוד לתואר ראשון. חינוך לגיל הרך, חינוך יסודי, חינוך על יסודי, חינוך מיוחד ואומנות, כך שכל סטודנטית תוכל לבחור את המסלול המתאים ביותר עבורה. במכללת תלפיות תמצאי את כל היתרונות במקום אחד, יחס אישי ותוכנית מותאמת אישית. קמפוס בוטיק חכם וחדשני, מרחק הליכה מתחנת הרכבת, כל זה במרכז הארץ. כולנו כאן בשבילך, מאמינים בך. צוות מכללת תלפיות.
מכללת תלפיות לחינוך, ללמוד לתואר ראשון עם החברות שלי בדרך שלי. זו תלפיות שלי.
רדיו מודיעין, התושבים מדברים. רדיו מודיעין, התושבים מדברים.
Queen Camilla may have been crowned alongside King Charles on Saturday at Westminster Abbey, but there is only one queen of entertainment on Modiin and beyond, and that is our wonderful Yael Kinar. Yael, look at that tiara, ladies and gentlemen. She came to slay.
Even access to the actual royal jewels, but in my homage to the momentous occasion.
Well, we had everything we wanted. We had spectacular scenes in Westminster Abbey. We had a military parade second to none. We had carriages. We had crowns. We had Jews in the Abbey. And we had Catherine looking like a goddess, as we expected. And those children took our breath away. And we had one very well-placed royal feather. Let's talk all things coronation.
It was everything we needed and more. I will say that I have a friend who's been in England for the last 2 weeks who claims it hasn't rained for 3 weeks before and has been glorious weather after, and the only rainy glum day was the day of the coronation. But the pomp, the pageantry, the dual carriages, the outfits, the royals from other European countries, heads of state, the outfits, I was very pleased. Specifically with Kate and Charlotte, who had matching headpieces, not the classic tiaras, beautiful Alexander McQueen, all the women in white, and then the extra official robes and velvet and titles, and fabulous. So many servicemen and women outside, so many, you know, just the amount of preparation this level of production requires. And though I think there were, you know, there's always the anti-monarchy protests, but far outweighed by the people who sat out in the rain for hours and days. And I think that there was something a little melancholy about the fact that he is 73. I think it would have added a little pip and fun if he had relinquished and let William and Kate just do it. But I understand there are protocols, there are rules. This is not how it's done in England. There's other monarchies that do sort of pass it on to the next generation while they're still alive. But we had outfits, Rolene. Did you have opinions, perchance?
I'm going to share those opinions with you now, but I think for me, watching it, I think what we're seeing is King Charles, I mean, who's prepared for this for how long? 50-something years. I think he's very much a caretaker king, and he knows that a transitional king until we get to King William, who over the weekend at the coronation concert gave his own personal vow to the king, to the country, and to the people of the Commonwealth. And I think what we are seeing is time for William to mature, and he is already that statesman, but time for him and his family to mature. And what was particularly moving for me, not only seeing Rabbi Mervis walk in, where hundreds of years ago there was a pogrom at a coronation, to see our rabbi and all the sensitivity given to him around this, but to see William pledge to be liege man of life and limb, and give his father a kiss. I think a projectile sobbed. But let's talk outfits, because those are our favorites. For me, the Princess of Wales, Catherine and Charlotte, just looking exquisite. Zara looking magnificent with a beautiful sentimental brooch. To me, the ultimate was the royal princess, and definitely given the position of right-hand person for the king, gold stick in waiting.
With a literal feather in her cap.
Was that intentional, the seating to block Harry? I mean, we had Meghan behind a candle at the funeral, Harry behind a feather. I think that's a not so subtle message. Don't mess with the palace. And when she got on her horse, back straight as a rod, and rode along, I was like, lady, I cannot ride a horse, but I will follow you into battle.
Absolutely. And that is the thing. They each have their roles. They have been practicing for so long. everyone knows where they're meant to be, what they're meant to do. And if it's riding a horse just behind the golden carriage as your brother is anointed king, then that's what they will do.
What were your standout fashion moments?
Well, I was blown away by 8-year-old Charlotte in her white McQueen cape outfit. There, I mean, starting young with the high fashion there. And I thought it was beautiful that Kate was wearing her late mother-in-law's earrings and a necklace that King George had originally had made for Elizabeth. So she always has, not only does she just plain look good, but there's meaning, there's significance to the things that she chooses. And we had standout Penny Mordaunt, who I'd never heard of.
How was Penny Mordaunt with that sword? The penny is mightier than the sword, Yael.
Over social media, people were Googling, who is the lady with the sword? The custom-made heel and the headpiece and the core Pilates strength it requires to carry that for hours. I thought there was a lot of ladies who looked fantastic.
Can we give a shout out to a man who to me deploys the dash as divinely as humanly possible, and that is the King's Equerry Lieutenant Colonel, not Major anymore, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Thompson in his kilt, giving us hunky Scottish vibes. Yes, I know that we are, objectifying him, but hello, when you look that good.
Absolutely, and he wasn't the one posting later to thank anyone for his outfit, as opposed to certain princes who were promoting Dior for dressing them. That would be Harry in his 3-piece suit, and he had to rush back to California for Archie's 4-year-old birthday party. So he did come. He was there for a few hours. He was not invited to join the balcony wave. But we'll see. I don't know what the next coronation holds, but we shall see how things develop in that family. Some things are for certain. There'll be great outfits and great jewels.
Before we go, because we've got about a minute left, that was, to me, the heart of tacky is to immediately, first of all, to not show up wearing a British impeccably tailored suit, of all occasions. To not be there in something British and he knows the protocol, so there's no excuse. But to immediately merch for Dior, to me, that was just tacky.
Well, are we surprised at this point? I mean, I think it was hard for him to walk into that church alone and know the glares and know the judgment. He ran home to hopefully where he is now happy in California. The focus remains in London. That's where all eyes are at. And we wish the monarchy, the king, and all of the people of the Commonwealth all our love.
Well, my brilliant engineer says we've got to talk about Eurovision in the minute that we've got left. Of course, we're all behind Noah Kirel. And I think next week...
Of course, phenomenal. That is what's happening.
Next week, we will be bringing you all those Eurovision updates only here on Modiin and beyond. I want to say a huge thank you to the Queen of Entertainment, the fabulous and tiara'd Yael Kinar. A huge thank you to Ido Gotin of Save a Child's Heart and Daniella Tannenwald of Thrivacious. Thank you to Pe'er Atia behind the scenes, twiddling the knobs. And thank you to you, my listeners. I'm Rolene Marks. This is Modiin and Beyond on Radio Modiin. I'm going to catch you again next week.
Hey, you don't like the way I'm talking, hey? So you stand there, keep on calling me names. No, I'm not your enemy, so if you're gonna do it, then do it. Hey, do you wanna check my DNA? All the stories time to go away and believe in fairy tales, oh. If you're gonna do it, I'm gonna stand it like a unicorn. Out here on my own, I got the power of a unicorn. Don't you ever learn that I won't look back, I won't look down. I'm going up, you better turn around. The
עצמי.